Oh yeah, right. Welcome back to Neil's Restorations. I've been asked to do a video. A lot of people don't seem to know how to do the find out the what ratio their diff is. And as you've probably seen on a lot of other vehicles, plates can be changed, and diffs can be changed, and so can the tags. So unfortunately you've got only two options. One, you take the diff out of the casing and then read what's on there, or two, you do the spin test. And now I'm going to show you how to do the spin test. It's fairly straightforward and easy, so hopefully this should help. I'm going to do it on a 2.5 recovery truck. I already know what ratio it is, but I'm doing it on this one because a few of my other vehicles have got better ratios, and a couple of them have got limited slip diff, which makes it a bit more difficult. Because the easiest way to do this is, I've already started it. I've jacked up one side, as you can see, and handbrake is off and it is out of gear. So please remember to chock the vehicle so it doesn't roll away. So at the minute I've jacked it up on one side. I've marked the diff and the prop shaft, as you can see there, and I've put a mark on the wheel, and it's dead centre at the top. So what we need to do, right, we need to do one full revolution of the wheel, so it goes all the way around and then back up to the top. But we're not concerned too much about this one at the minute. It is over here. Now as I turn this, the prop shaft will turn, as you can see. So, but what we want to do is we need to see how many times that's going to turn. So as I do this, I'm going to turn this full one complete turn, okay? But let's just watch on that and see how far it goes. Right. So that's one time. That's two. And to go back up to the top, I would say that's a quarter and a half. Yeah, so it's back up to the top, but it's so it's you can just about see it, so it's probably just about 2.5 times that's gone round. The prop shaft has gone round 2.5 times for full one revolution. So what you do is you double the revolutions of the prop shaft. Now we know it's smidge over 2.5 times, which means it will be just over 5, which means it's a 512, which is what we already knew it was anyway. If I did it on that vehicle, that would only go round 2.25 times, which means it's a 463, or just over 2.25 times. So like my van there, my minibus, it's a 5 stud. 5 studs would only be a 456 or a 411. Now when you do it on a 5 stud short wheelbase, or the Tinkerton rear diff, that will only be either 2.25 times, which would be a 456, which is a standard diff, or it will be a smidge over 2 times, which would be a 411 with one full turn of the outer wheel. It only needs to be lifted up on one side. You need to keep the other side on the ground and locked so it doesn't move. So you're only moving your prop shaft and your wheels. So I'm hoping this has all been fairly straightforward and easy to understand. So just to recap, you've just got to make sure that you get this wheel has got to go round, sorry, apologies, didn't mean to do that, one full time, and then you count how many turns it goes on the prop shaft. See, now that's gone around there, so it would be 2.25 times, 2.5 times, so that would be 512. So that is how you do it. You always double the prop shaft readings. So then you know you've either got 463 or a 512 or anything like that. So if you know that you've got 512, it will go round just over 2.5 times on the prop shaft for 1 revolution of the wheel. If you've got 463, which is a rare diff, it will go round 2.25 times, or just a smidge over 2.25 times on the prop shaft for 1 full revolution. So I'm hoping that's helped, and I'm hoping that people can find out what their own diff ratio is. Okay, right, take care everyone, bye. Hiya, right, now this is part 2 of that video I've just done about the rear diffs. I figured I'd just do a decoding part on the plate that you get on the passenger step. This is what you'd get on your passenger step. Now if you look closely, 1 second, you'll see, hold on, it should say MJ, or better still, let me turn the camera around. Right, there you go, MJ, right. So when you're decoding, you've got the 5 lines. Always go to the middle one, and about the centre will be your ratio. There'll be 2 letters side by side. Now this one says MJ. Now over here, I've got the decoding. Right, M would be a 6 stud axle, which is the M, which is a heavy Salisbury, and it does not have LSD. Now a heavy Salisbury with LSD would be an R. So if it had an R, it would have the LSD. But this is obviously just a standard one, so this is just an M, which is what most ratios are. Now it's the second letter, the one you want to know about, which is the J. Now on here, the J is a 514, and or not 512, sorry, 514. And if you remember, I went round just over 2.5 times, so that worked out to be right. So that means that this plate is probably the rear axle is probably the original one for the van. And if you remember rightly, I said to you about the 463. If on your plate, on your VIN plate, it says, instead of a J, it says a G, which would be the 463, which would be the 2.25 turns. But the G is the 463, which is the motorway one, which is the one everyone wants, which is the 6 stud, basically what everyone wants. On the 5 studs, it would genuinely be, 1 second, it would normally be a B for a 5 stud. If you've got like a minibus or just a van and it's just a 5 stud wheels, on your plate it should say something like B, which will be Timken without the LSD, and normally it'll say BL, so your second letter would be L, which would be a 456. If you're lucky, you'll have an N, which will be the 411, but that's usually about the lowest that you're going to get. If some by dastardly chance that you have something that I've got, and you've got a Tinkerton with LSD, instead of a B, it will say a D, and it will say D, like my one on my van says D N, which is LSD with a 411 rear diff. But most people's will just say BL, which will be nothing special, a 456 ratio. That's 5 stud. 6 stud, most people have got the MJ, which is just basically the heavy Salisbury axle without the LSD, and it'll be a 514. So hopefully that helps. Okay then, bye.